Hi guys, welcome back to the Girl Talk podcast. It's your girl Pi, and today we have another special episode because today I will be taking a break from my usual content, talking about different topics that interests me, and I will be rating every single K-drama I've watched so far. So, for context, I've watched over 50 K dramas and I consider myself a K drama lover. So, the first K drama that I've ever watched was Strong Woman Do Bong Soon. Actually, it's like one of my favorite K dramas of all time, and I would rate it like a solid 9 out of 10. So, first order of business, Queen Mantis. Now, this K drama is all about horror and blood, so if you're not a big fan of that, I wouldn't recommend it. And I would give it definitely another 9 out of 10 since I love horror K dramas so much. Another wild K drama that I would say it's wild. It's Mask Girl. And I would say that the plot twists were pretty crazy. And it wasn't something that I would recommend everybody to watch, especially because of the wild scenes. But overall, the plot twists were crazy and I loved it. And my jaw dropped like all the time when I was watching this K drama. True Beauty, one of the first K dramas that I've ever watched. Probably the second, yeah, it's the second K drama I've watched. And I remember watching it for the first time. It was such like a comforting K drama. And I remember the time it came out and everybody was talking about it. I think it was 2021 or something. And it's definitely like a starter friendly K drama. Like, it will get you into the K-drama world if you've loved it. If you didn't love it, then you probably are going to hate every other K-drama. But if you did love it, welcome to the K-drama world. And next is My Demon. Now, I'm not quite sure how I feel about it because at some point I remember being bored from it, but generally I loved it. Like, My Demon is probably one of like the most popular K-dramas that came out in 2024, and I would give it a solid 8.2 out of 10. Another horror K-drama is All of Us Are Dead, and there's like it's simply a masterpiece. This K-drama is about zombies, and we all love zombie K-dramas, don't we? I heard a lot of people say that it's a little bit sad before I watched it. And it is sad, and we're waiting for season 2. Drop it, please. Okay, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Weak Hero Class 1 and 2. Now, I've watched Weak Hero Class 1 and I loved it. Like, I watched it non-stop. But Class 2, I found it a little bit more boring than Class 1. I did love it. But the character change probably played a reason of why I loved it less than season 1. It's because we were used to a character who was with anger issues and everything, and the character switch up was just not for me. Although I have to say that I love the new characters that they added, and they definitely added more to the storyline. So I'll probably rate season 1 a 10 out of 10 and season 2 a 9 out of 10. Study Group, one of my favorite K-dramas, like when it comes to comedy. I remember laughing a lot and enjoying it. Like, this K-drama like appealed so deeply to me, and I love it. I'll probably rate it a 10 out of 10. Business Proposal, another classic. This one is like the kind of K-drama where you're not expecting much from the storyline, but you still find yourself watching without like feeling bored or anything. You just keep doing it and you're wondering why you're here. So I'll probably rate it a 9.5 out of 10. Lovely Runner. This is another K-drama, if I remember correctly, that came out in 2024 or 2025. I'm not sure. But I remember all the hype, and I remember hearing some people like saying that they hated it, some people saying they loved it. And to be honest, I've watched it and I loved it. But at some point, I was feeling a little bored. Like the storyline was like beautiful and everything. It was the classical time traveling K-drama we all know. But at some points I was feeling a little bored, but I loved it overall. 9 out of 10. 2521. Another classic. Again, I have this thing with K-dramas where I don't like feeling bored mid-season. And the thing with like 2521, it was like okay in the first episodes, but I started getting bored in the middle and like towards the end. And I felt like I forced myself to finish it in order for me to be able to like rate it fairly without judging just the first few episodes. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It was pretty decent though. Vincenzo, one of my favorites. Now, usually when it comes to K-dramas, I usually enjoy like the few first episodes, but then find it a little boring in the middle, but then like it at the end. Vincenzo was the opposite. I found it a little boring at first, but the more I keep watching, the more I found it more and more interesting. And yeah, maybe the right thing we need to start saying is don't judge a K-drama by the first episodes, because that was definitely what was happening with Vincenzo. I rate it a 10 out of 10. Queen of Tears. A little bit long episodes. It was definitely on the longer version. I prefer a shorter K-drama. Definitely a lot of plot twists, a lot of events going on there, so it was not boring, but there was a lot going on. And yeah, it was just the fact that it was a little bit long that made me enjoy it a little less. So I'll rate it an 8.5 out of 10. Bloodhounds, one of my favorite action/thriller K-dramas out there, and yeah, what can I say? A masterpiece. 10 out of 10. Marry My Husband. Dramatic. Like crazy plot twists and everything. Like the K-drama left me speechless. Like what am I right now? That's the question that made me ask. And it's just a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. When Life Gives You Tangerines. Another masterpiece. This is definitely like a unique style of K-dramas. I've never watched like something like this. And we all agreed that the main characters were green flags. And yeah, 10 out of 10. The Judge from Hell. Another masterpiece. I would give it a 10 out of 10. Crash Landing on You. I remember laughing so hard watching this, and I loved it. Like, the comedy is there, the action is there, the drama is there, the everything is there. The K-drama is so put together, like, well, and I loved it, like 10 out of 10. Night Has Come. Crazy storyline, crazy plot twists, crazy everything. I remember loving it. I remember being like, oh my god, what am I watching? This is so good. 10 out of 10. Happiness. Another 10 out of 10. Happiness is like, don't judge the title. Again, It's called Happiness, but it's so depressing, and it's about zombies. So, yeah, it's a zombie. Mr. Queen, another comedy favorite of mine. I remember laughing so hard watching it, and it was such a comforting K drama. The comedy was there, the drama was there, the like plot twists was there. It was definitely a mix of drama and like comedy in a good way. So 10 out of 10. Trauma Code Heroes on Call. Another short K drama that I wanted it to be like longer because of how good it was, when even though I usually prefer shorter K dramas. A medical one, pretty exciting and pretty. It gets you. It's the kind of K drama that makes you feel like you're part of the team, you're part of the squad. 10 out of 10. My Name, crazy scenes. Still good though. So maybe a 9 out of 10. My Dearest Nemesis. The main character, I don't remember the actor's name though. We were so used to him acting in like high school K dramas, and the role he took as the CEO probably made him not. Because I'm always used to seeing him as a high schooler, probably didn't take him seriously as the CEO role. So, but it was pretty funny and I loved it. 8 out of 10. Duty After School, Season 1 and Season 2. Depressing, but like so good at the same time. Crazy plot twists, crazy character shifts. I'm trying not to spoil, but if you don't want your favorite characters to die, don't watch this K-drama, because literally everybody dies. It's like a unique thing because they took horror and plot twist and mixed it so well together and gave us this masterpiece. Both seasons are a 10 out of 10. A Shop for Killers. Another K-drama that I probably shouldn't have judged from the first episode. Yeah, just the first episode, because this one is a little short. It was pretty boring at the beginning. Maybe it wasn't boring, or maybe it was more of the storyline taking its time to settle with us. But yeah, a 10 out of 10. Snowdrop, my favorite K-drama of all time. There's like a gazillion plot twists in every episode, and that's what I like about that kind of K-dramas. I love plot twists. So yeah, a million out of 10. Duh. Newtopia, another Jisoo K-drama. I've heard a lot of people say that they hated her acting in it, but I don't see any problem with it. It was pretty funny. I loved it. Yeah. Survival, it's a zombie movie, so survival, yeah. Reply, 1988. This was like my comfort K-drama. It was pretty long. It was like 20 episodes. And probably the only K-drama that I would justify having 20 episodes for, because I just loved the way it made me feel. It was so comforting for the heart. The comedy was there, the drama was there, and there's just something about nostalgic K-dramas that I just love. Yeah, a 10 out of 10. Mr. Plankton, pretty depressing, as everybody says. I loved it though, so I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Twinkling Watermelon, another comforting comedy K-drama. It was so funny. I remember laughing so hard watching it. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Bitch Rich Season 1 and Season 2. Both seasons, honestly, 9 out of 10. Crazy plot twists, and what can I say? It just makes you. The storyline was crazy because it makes you think, is this what actually happens in private rich schools? And maybe that made maybe that made me think that it wasn't very realistic, but if it was, that would be crazy because there were a lot of plot twists and everything. Deaths, yeah. So yeah, The Glory season 1 and season 2, masterpiece, a 10 out of 10. Plot twists, I loved it. The character development was so good, like oh my god, so good. I love a good character development throughout the story. So yeah, Pyramid Game. Again, like it was fiction, but still it was crazy. And this was that K-drama that had Won Young's sister, and I loved her accent, her character shift, the way they made us think that she was a good person, and then we saw how she gradually became the villain. I mean, she was the villain, but she was just hiding it. And the main character was the only one who figured it out with her friends. Boys Over Flowers. I'm sorry for everyone who loved it, but I found it a little boring, a little cringe, and 25 episodes was so long. It was probably we would have had more than enough in 16 episodes. Why are we extending it for no reason? Pretty long. I found it boring. I'm sorry, but 6 out of 10 for Boys Over Flowers. It hurts my heart to rate a classic like this as 6 out of 10, but I don't know. I found it pretty boring. Squid Game, all 3 seasons. I'm not gonna say it's overrated, because it's not. It's worth the hype. It's definitely a rare show that deserved the hype given to it. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for all 3 seasons. Maybe I'm waiting for a 4th one, I don't know. But 10 out of 10 for all 3 seasons. Okay. S-Line. Crazy concept, a new thing. Like, I've never seen a K-drama like this, but I loved it. Like, again, I love a good K-drama with a lot of plot twists, and this was definitely it. So I'll rate it a solid 9 out of 10. Extraordinary Attorney Woo. It was so sweet. It was so heart comforting and so heart melting. It was so good. I had so much fun watching it, and it was so good. The comedy was there, the romance was there, everything was there. So yeah, 9.8 out of 10. Why is it missing? Why is it not 10 out of 10? Maybe just because I prefer a little bit more action. Like, there was no action in this. It was just a comforting K-drama. There was no drama in this K-drama. It was just simple. And I loved it. Death Game. Definitely, I had a lot of impact on me, and it made me overthink a lot. But it's in the name. It's Death Games. So I don't want to spoil, but this K-drama will make you look at people's lives from a different perspective. And yeah, I'll just rate it a 10 out of 10. Itaewon Class. Again, one of the K-dramas I had to force myself to finish in order for me to judge it. I remember loving some parts of it, and I remember feeling sleepy in some parts of it. So I'll rate it an 8.1 out of 10. Celebrity, another K-drama I forced myself to finish so I can judge it fairly. It wasn't my favorite. 7 out of 10. Cheer Up, another 7 out of 10. Love Alarm, season 1 and season 2. Did I hear everybody and their mother on the internet hating on this K-drama? Yes. Did I still finish both seasons? Yes. Because I have this thing where I have to finish a K-drama in order for me to judge it. And yeah, 2 out of 10. I hated it. The storyline didn't make sense. The characters breaking up was like for no reason. It was just so they can force a plot because there was no plot. It was just characters existing, literally. Just characters existing for the sake of the show to continue. There was no sake. A 2 out of 10. That's generous. Mellow movie. Another K drama I forced myself to finish. I don't know what was the point, but there was no point. The the charisma between the characters and the like chemistry between them felt so forced. I don't think they were meant for each other, and it was so obvious on camera. And maybe the like actors hated each other, but the characters were not made for each other. It felt like we were forcing something that wasn't there. So I'll rate it a 6 out of 10. The Sound of Magic. Another K drama I found a little boring at first because the story didn't settle yet, but it was pretty good afterward. 7 out of 10. My Love from Another Star. Another comedy comfort slash drama. It was so dramatic and I loved it. Plot twists existing. Yeah, it's another classic. I heard that it's like Won Young's favorite movie, a favorite like K drama, and probably for a good reason because it is so good. 9 out of 10. DP season 1 and season 2, a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. Parasites the Grey, uh, another like masterpiece. I would give it like a 10 out of 10. If you're scared of like horror, again, horror because this is a horror K-drama. If you're scared, I wouldn't recommend watching it. Tarot. Another K-drama that made me look at life from a different perspective. It's the this K-drama is a little bit special than usual because you could literally start it from any episode you want because each episode had a different story, so there was no like it's not a series. You could just start it from whenever and it would make sense because the episodes are not related. I definitely loved it. Definitely a 10 out of 10. Shut Up Flower Boy Band. This is the underdog of K-dramas. I don't hear people talking about this enough, but it was so good. But so depressing, like, why did they make my favorite character die on the second episode? Why? I'm sorry if I spoiled it for you, but I had to. I had to do something. Overall, it was a good K-drama. 8.5 out of 10. Bon Appetit, Your Majesty. It was definitely weirder for me to watch since I watched Mr. Queen before it, and it was basically the same, just different fronts. It was good though. Like, it was the same, but at the same time they put on a little extra effort with Yuna, since it was Yuna acting as the main character. But the whole concept of a chef traveling back in time to cook in the Joseon era, in the royal kitchen. Yeah, that's the same concept but different fronts. I loved it though. 9.5 out of 10. So that's it, guys. I've rated every single K-drama I've watched so far. I probably missed a few, but that was just simply because I don't remember them. But yeah, let me know your opinions on the comments, and if you've watched any of these, please let me know because I love hearing different people's opinions on K-dramas. And yeah, see you on the next episode. Bye bye.